CBS 46 News presents Public Affairs on Peach.
Good morning and welcome to Public Affairs on Peach. I'm Megan Packer. It is great to have you with us today. 2019 is here and many of us made our resolutions for the year ahead. Maybe you want to lose weight or get organized. But what about financial resolutions? That's what we're talking about today. I'm joined by my first guest, Certified Financial Advisor with Ameriprise Financial Services, Manka Kaur. Manka, Happy New Year and welcome in.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right. So it's never too early to start talking about retirement and planning for it. So let's start 401ks, IRAs. What is your advice for folks that might be banking on that for later in life? What should we be doing right now?
Well, I would say it's never too early to get started. And even though you may feel that it's really far away, it's amazing if you can harness the power of compound interest. So I would say, you know, it's a great opportunity. A lot of time there's a match through your employer as well. So I would highly recommend it, and I would take a look at, you know, what the match is and at least do up to the match, if not the maximum. It depends on your cash flow.
And if you've already been contributing, what is your advice as far as bumping it up? Say every year, should you make that a part of your resolution every year, increase your 401k contribution?
Absolutely. I think there's many ways of looking at it. Now there's opportunities of putting money into a 401k. There's also opportunities of possibly doing an IRA if it's not available to you, and then also a Roth IRA in addition to the 401k is a possibility if your income allows you to do so. So the more you can save, the more you can sock away. I think take a look at your cash flow, and definitely I would say that's something you should be increasing on an ongoing basis.
So we've got some list of advice here that you've got tips on short-term financial resolution. So let's start with reviewing the financial picture. How do we do that?
Okay, the first thing I would do is I would take a look at where you are now. I think it's really hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. So take a look at, you know, what you did last year, what your goals were last year, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, and then, you know, see what you want to accomplish for this year. So I would highly recommend taking a look at that and move on from there.
And when you're talking about goals, we say consider goals, meaning what?
So a lot of times people might have other goals in addition to their monetary goals as well, like possibly hiring a personal trainer. That seems to be a really big one. And then also maybe traveling overseas or even domestically. And so taking a look at that and actually incorporating that in your budget. Because a lot of people fail to do that, and we know that that's going to be an added expense for the year. So consider the different goals that you might have for the year in addition to your monetary goals of additional savings. I would also tell you one of the most important things that I've seen is being specific. So I think it's really important to be specific when you're talking about your goals as well. Because it's easy and very vague to say, I'd like to save more money or I'd like to spend less, but you need to probably take it a step further and say, you know, I'd like to save more money, so over the next month I will eat out less, or I will spend a little less on clothing, whatever it might be that might work for you.
Would you recommend setting a dollar amount for yourself, saying I want to put $100 away or $100 more than I'm doing? Can that get into tricky territory if you set a dollar amount, or is that good?
No, I think the more specific you are, the better it is. And in fact, if it was up to me, and this is how I do my own finances, and I recommend this to clients as well, is that don't first determine how much you want to spend and then save. First determine how much you want to save and then spend what's left.
That's good advice. Remember that. I like that one. Let's talk credit scores. You're recommending to check your credit score.
Absolutely. So I think it is becoming increasingly more important to check your score on an annual basis. Now there's 3 credit agencies out there. Equifax, there's Experian, and then there's also TransUnion. And one of the things that they are required by law to do is to provide a free credit report at least annually. So I would definitely take advantage of it, because with all the identity theft news out there, you know, it's important to make sure there's nothing on there that could be damaging. And I would also encourage, you know, to make sure not just for accuracy, but suppose you have some goals this year that you'd like to have a big purchase made, you want to make sure that you can kind of determine what kind of credit
Yeah.
you would qualify for.
That you're in good standing, no one's opening an account in your name. For
Exactly.
Sure. And quickly here, credit card interest rates. What should we know about those?
Okay. So more often than not, I see that people, have quite high credit scores, and a lot of times they don't even know about it. So I would say credit scores and credit interest rate, and they are not quite aware of it. So I would highly recommend that you review your credit interest rates on your credit cards and see, does it make sense for you to consolidate them or lower the interest rate in some way or form, or move it to a no interest type of a loan. And so I think this is really important, because a lot of times it's tough if you're just making the minimum payment to keep up with paying that off in a reasonable amount of time. So I think it's important to lower that rate so that you can make more of a dent, especially if it's a goal of yours to pay that off in 2019.
Wonderful. All good financial goals as we head into the new year. Manka, thank you. Stick around, much more
Sure.
just ahead. We are just getting started on this financial resolution edition of Public Affairs on Peach. Up next, some of the biggest financial mistakes we may all be guilty of making and how to avoid them. We'll be right back.